This is a movie that John and I have been talking about for years now. So way before the script was ever even written, we were kind of banging back ideas back and forth about this and about what it might feel like to shoot something that, you know, in essence feels a bit like a live-action Pixar film. And that's really what John has put on the page, I think. In you know, it's incredibly emotional, and it ebbs and flows. It's that make them laugh, make them cry, and bring them back to laughter. As we started shooting this movie, I've talked to a lot of people that, you know, they'll ask me what I'm up to. I'll say, oh, I'm shooting this film about imaginary friends. I've talked to people who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who will talk about, oh man, I miss my imaginary friends. I had 2 when I was a kid, and their names were this and that, and they would kind of go into this sort of wistful, nostalgic, and not the least of which emotional kind of reverie of when they were kids and that time when they had that friend that was there for them unconditionally and always. I've known John for, God, I guess 12 years, maybe 15 years, I'm not sure. Long time though. Yeah, we live near each other, our kids are friends. It's kind of the best of every possible world, you know. So shooting this movie's been amazing. To be shooting it here in New York as well is such a rare opportunity. I think I've shot 1 movie in New York, and it was 16 years ago. So this is, you know, this has just been a dream come true for us. I struggle to think of a filmmaker that hasn't, that's been more informed by their own parenthood and children than John Krasinski. I mean, he's I feel like that it really cemented his language as a filmmaker. You know, being a dad and being a husband and being, you know, the parent to 2 little girls. You know, I think it sort of informs. He filters all of his storytelling through that prism, and I think it's beautiful. He can, but what's striking to me about it is that he can make a movie that is as scary and provocative as Quiet Place and Quiet Place 2. Yet he can also do something as, I know, tender and unexpected and hilarious as Imaginary Friends. For starters, you have incredible talent playing our ifs. I mean, you know, everybody from Louis Gossett Jr. to Steve Carell to, you know, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Like, it's crazy, the level of talent that's attached to that. So that helps inform it a little bit, but it's been great. And, you know, yeah, it's all about imagination. I mean, I've never struggled with that idea of like acting against a tennis ball as a creature or an effect, because that's our job. Our job is to place ourselves in that position regardless of what we're looking at. We've been all over New York, but huge chunks of the film take place in Coney Island, which is obviously this incredibly historic amusement park that has a great, I think, a pretty storied cinematic legacy as well. Shooting in Brooklyn and Brooklyn Heights has been great. I've lived in New York for, I don't know, 12, 15 years now, and it's such a rare opportunity to get to shoot at home. So for us, for John and I, it's been great because, you know, a lot of the days that we're shooting, we're able to walk our kids to school and then go to work, which is just something I don't take for granted for a second. I met Cailey in the audition process. She came in and read with John and I, and you know, it was like one of those situations, like it always is. It really is always the same. It's when somebody walks in and they just are the person. You know within the first sentence that comes out of them. You just, you know, even though we'd already read with some pretty striking and incredible young actors, the second Cailey walked in, she just spoke and you just knew. I mean, John and I kind of looked at each other. It was almost like, why continue with this charade of, you know, the rest of these scenes that we knew right away. I had a kind of an imaginary friend when I was a kid. It was Pookie was was his name, and he was like a bear, like a kind of a, looked just like a teddy bear sort of thing. And my brother Jeff and I shared this imaginary friend back and forth, and it was like a really kind of a weird bond my brother and I had, and it's something we still talk about to this day. So this movie on every level really kind of resonated with me in ways that I both expected and didn't expect.